Different income from active to passive. I'm actively living this rap shit I'm gassing. Let me talk to y'all for a minute. Man, I turned this podcast rap show to a business. Refugee been hustling for years since I got admitted. Man, I got admitted I was broke, then I fucking did it. In the streets fitted. Man, no kidding.
Sorry about that. Bitmine company surges 700%. Bitmine emerging technology stock had a significant day today, Monday, June 30, 2025. Here's a summary of what happened. Major announcement in price surge, $250 million private placement. The company announced a major private placement for the purchase and sale of 55,555,556 shares of common stock at a price of $4.50 per share, aiming to raise $250 million. Shift to Ethereum treasury strategy. The most impactful part of the announcement is that Bitmine intends to use the net proceeds from this offering to acquire Ethereum and make it its primary treasury reserve asset. This is a significant strategic shift for the company, which was previously more focused on Bitcoin mining. Expected to be a top ETH holder. With this move, Bitmine expects to be one of the largest publicly traded holders of Ethereum, a bold claim that will likely fuel investor enthusiasm. Tom Lee, chairman of Bitmine, highlighted the growth of stable coins and the reliance on Ethereum blockchain as a rationale for the strategy. And yeah, the stock basically shot up 700%, if not more, on this news. I'm not an Ethereum guy. I don't really understand the smart contracts technology. I mean, obviously I understand blockchain to a certain degree, distributed ledger, things like that. But Ethereum in itself, people are very bullish on Ethereum. Ethereum has been moving sideways for a while. If you had your money in Ethereum for the past, I don't know how many years, you haven't been doing so well. But obviously it's pretty useful, and people are very bullish on Ethereum and blockchain over I don't know how many years. And it's, you know, a lot of things are happening on the Ethereum blockchain. People talk about that. So things are being built on there. It's not something I fully understand. So I try and stay away from Ethereum. But hey, you have a lot of these Bitcoin treasury companies. Now you have a Ethereum treasury company. You know, people finding ways to niche out, stand out from the crowd. It is what it is. So we'll see how that works out. I stay away from Ethereum, but that's what it is. And then we had key takeaways of the week from my learning, updates on the company. So I'm going to give you guys some updates on Hustle Holdings as a company. So I started learning about derivatives. I'm doing my CSC course. I'm still working my CSC course. I'm about over 50% done my CSC course. I'm shooting to get it done by the end of the year. LLQP is on the list of things to do to get my life insurance license. The idea is to basically get as many certifications and licenses and education and things that I can do to be able to be as qualified and be able to be regulatory compliant to do this business. So those are things that are on my to-do list. I'm working on it every day, or if not every day, then every week. And I've been working on it for a while now, and I want to continue to get that done. Self-directed corporate accounts are now available on Wealthsimple. I have a meeting on Wednesday with a financial advisor. So now this will allow me to trade and buy assets and invest in assets through my corporate account, take a percentage of the cash flow from my operating business, this courier business, skip the dishes, Uber, DoorDash, which sounds kind of comical. People are like, how are you going to do that? But you know, that's the idea. Take some of this money from Skip the Dishes, Uber, and DoorDash, build a portfolio, build an investment company, and try and go from there. So, and obviously invest in myself along the way. And I'm halfway through my stock market cash flow book by Andy Tanner, teaching about fundamental analysis, technical analysis, cash flow, and risk management, the 4 pillars. I've gone through the fundamental analysis. I'm now on technical analysis. And what was really stood out for me was the idea of if the financial statement, how to read the financial statement, and the financial statement is basically a result of policy. And if you don't like the financial statement, you need to change the policy. And I realized, like, my financial statement, I needed to change the policy in my financial statement. And so I started re-implementing some of the policies that I had been implementing years ago when my balance sheet was doing better, when my net worth was doing better. Obviously, I took a recent loss on my car and stuff. It wasn't great for the business, wasn't great for my balance sheet. It was a $10,000 loss that I had to write off. and then purchased a new vehicle and all this sort of stuff. And I was out of work for a while. So that's the thing about this courier business. It's highly capital intensive, low margins, very little control on the upside. You get all the downside, but it's a business that I enjoy doing, and it is what it is. It pays the bills for now. So, and it gives me flexibility to be able to do the things that I like to do. So obviously I would like to replace this operating business with another business. That'd be great. But in the meantime, I'm going to use what I have. And so I'm re-implementing some of the strategies and policies that I had learned previously and seeing if that works. And one of the strategies is to save 30% of my income. So the 30% of the income, 10% should go into cash savings buffer, 10% into investing, 10% into debt and charity. And hopefully I should be able to knock off the debt, save cash, and invest and increase the balance sheet and start building some cash flow. You know what I mean? And if I can do that, and if I can increase the income that we're making by 10 or 15K by the end of the year, we should be able to add some cash flow and some money into the balance sheet. And I love what Gary Vee said on Instagram. I don't know if it was on Instagram, but I saw a video of Gary Vee. He says, ACE, ambition, consistent execution. A lot of people have ambition, but they don't have consistent execution. And that is so key, because if you look at the difference between, at least for us, me, the company, my balance sheet, my cash flow, all the financial statement was looking a lot better when I was consistently executing my policy. I set out a plan, set out a goal, did it, executed. And the more I did that, the better things got. So sometimes it's just a matter of just executing. A lot of people get jaded online. They're not millionaires overnight. That's got to stop, bro. You got to, this is my opinion. For us, it's not about trying to become a millionaire overnight. It's about executing our plans and our goals and the things we set out to do and sticking to our principles as much as we can. And the idea for the company in terms of investing, which I'm going to get into our paper trading portfolio, is this is the philosophy that we have as a company, which is look for and find deals among different return streams that have a high probability of making money that are in my circle of competence. Great assets hold for preferably as long as possible. So that's the idea. You know what I mean? And I have a paper trading portfolio that I want to show you guys. I'm going to put it here on the picture-in-picture or somewhere here on the right, left, wherever it's going to be. But you guys are going to see the portfolio holdings that I put together on this paper trading. Shout out to Mumu. You can check out Mumu if you want to do a paper trading portfolio. And you can see we have SLVR, silver. I told you guys I'm bullish on silver. I'll keep my thesis on each one of these holdings very simple and sweet. I learned this from listening to Peter Lynch. If you can explain it 1 to 2 sentences simply, it's a good investment. If you can't explain it simply, it's not a good investment. Shout out to Robert Kiyosaki. I also learned that from him. And basically, silver, I love the way it looks. It's useful. It's used in so many things in the modern technology economy. It's used in so many technology applications. Inventory and supply is shrinking. Demand is increasing. EV and solar use is increasing. Monetary and industrial use. And I mean, I know that the EV and solar, that's debatable, but overall, I think that's where things are going to move in the future. Not saying that there isn't a place for oil and gas, but I think overall that's kind of where things are moving. It's a commodity, it keeps up with inflation. It's down for its all-time real highs, or all-time highs in real terms from the 1980 Hunt squeeze. Silver miners should benefit from the increased silver prices, increased profits. So that's why I bought SLVR on the paper trading portfolio. Yeah. And then we have gold, GLD. I talked about this earlier on a previous podcast, why I own gold. Debt problem, sound money, supply and demand, sound money principles, de-dollarization around the world. There's privacy with gold. It's useful. It looks beautiful. Long history of a monetary metal holding its value. Move towards sound money again. That's kind of where things are moving. I'm bullish on gold.
Different income from active to passive. I'm actively living this rap shit I'm gassing. Let me talk to y'all for a minute. Man, I turned this podcast rap show to a business. Refugee been hustling for years since I got admitted. Man, I got admitted, I was broke, then I fucking did it. In the streets fitted, man, no kidding.